Are we live and you're just...
I was waiting for bings because it normally
the bings
bings
happened.
and I didn't hear them. Okay,
Yeah,
well anyway, I missed the bings. Today is December 2nd, 2013.
True story.
You're listening to I Think You Think.
Yes, you are.
I'm Justin.
He is.
That's James.
I am.
That's Koya. We are your hosts. We carry no credentials worth noting.
None.
However, what we do carry are fancy mugs.
Fancy
You are
mugs.
not holding them the same way.
Oh, sorry.
Justin, you little... Wait, not all of you. There you go.
There you go. Anyway,
We're not a cohesive team.
not yet. We've only had, well, you and I have had a year.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's our anniversary.
Aww.
We are a topical podcast that focuses on what we think and what you think. So if you want to join us, feel free to email us. You can follow us on Facebook and at the Chicago Now blogs. The links are in the underbar of the video. They're also on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/ithink.youthink. And all of that is great. There you go. And I Think You Think is produced by StolenArts Productions. And this is our one-year anniversary. It's our 52nd episode.
Not counting the lost episode.
Not counting the lost episode.
Which was awesome.
The best 8-hour episode in the history of mankind for podcasting.
Was it actually an 8-hour episode?
It was
This
actually
is not that episode. I don't know why you try to say that he was lying, though. It's go ahead. It's the anniversary episode. We have guests.
Yeah, we have guests.
I was just trying to make sure you weren't over-exaggerating.
I never exaggerated about anything. I don't know. It's ridiculous. It's probably closer to 9 hours.
Sip. Very poignant sip.
So this is our anniversary episode, and we invited some of our guests, people who have been on previously, who follow the podcast from time to time. But before we get started, I have a really big announcement that I've been working on for all of a few days. When I thought about it, I've been trying to get all of our podcasts onto iTunes, and they are now. So
Woo!
they are all on iTunes now. So
That's awesome.
Yeah. So you can just do a search in the iTunes store under podcasts for I Think You Think. I believe if you look under podcasts and not under songs or anything else, we actually come up as the first one.
It says I Think You Think and then explicit.
Yeah, because we are explicit.
They'll say words like poo.
Often.
So, yeah,
That's cool.
we are going to spend the next, well, less than an hour now, because it's taken me forever to get started and us to get started, talking about favorite episodes, memorable moments, and then for Kelsey and Vince, who has joined us, anything maybe that they didn't like, things that they'd like to see differently in the coming year. And then Sequoia, James, and I have a meeting tomorrow to discuss the future of I Think You Think.
We're going down to 2 people, so it's going to be like
Fancy.
a Robin Hood match.
Yep. Whoever survives.
Do I have that right?
Only 2 can come out of the circle.
Lunch. It's actually lunch.
So is it like the Hunger Games?
Oh. Like,
Yeah, I want you guys to know I'm really hipster, so if we hit 300 likes on Facebook, I'm quitting.
like the tribe has spoken type of thing?
That actually is probably only a few weeks away or a month away. I mean, we're at
Could happen
260 or something.
Any day
now, so.
right now, so
Yeah.
this could be my last podcast.
Yep. But we get to keep the mugs.
Well, that's, I mean,
No.
that's a plus.
They're on rental.
So I didn't start our backup audio, so I'm going to start that really quick. We had lost, for those who follow us very direct, all the time, like Yazzie, who unfortunately couldn't make it.
Because she hates me, I'm pretty sure.
That's not true. She sent you this
Sequoia?
crying face first.
Anyway, we lost the audio at the very end. Also, probably that time period was probably one of the best, second to the 8-hour.
Yeah, because nothing will ever top that, unless we lose another episode, and then that might top it.
Possibly. But yes, 51 episodes. This is the 52nd episode. We're 1 year in. Let's start with favorite moments. So,
well, for me, one of my favorite, and I was just looking through some of the early episodes, and it was Probably because it was a really heavy episode. When Sandy Hook happened and that episode, like looking back and realizing that was only our 4th episode today, was kind of amazing. The whole thing has kind of been amazing for me. I've had a lot of fun. Vince and Kelsey and Yazzie are the only people that watch our podcast. So it's basically, the 3 of us making it for the 3 of them.
And we appreciate the hundreds of views you guys actually go on our Libsyn. So we really appreciate it. Downloading the thing lots of times. Very, very helpful.
Over and over.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That and probably my mom. I know my wife doesn't watch, so.
Yeah, well, she has to hear you babbling on while she's in the house and recording. So.
Yeah.
Maybe some of these episodes we record here, she might watch.
Maybe.
I know my mom's watched a few, like, whenever she convinced my dad to, like, bring it up on the computer for her. Sorry, Mom.
Sorry.
So the Sandy Hook one.
Yeah, just the fact that we tackled something that big, and I just remember us ending that podcast and just being, like, emotionally exhausted. But I felt that it was, I remember it just being kind of amazing to, like, talk about such important subjects and just, it really kind of connected me to the podcast in another way. Because before that, I think we had just talked about not non-important things, but
Later.
less important things.
Yes.
Less major things. And that was really kind of a turning point for me in a way, I guess.
Sequoia, favorite moments?
Well, kind of like the first 2 episodes I were on were both like super heavy. Like the first one that I was on was about rape culture.
Yep.
And then the second one was about abortion. So the first couple that I were on, I was like really like heavy and like tense and like all this really heavy stuff. But I mean, I think my favorite moment, like the I Drink You drinks, are always really fun.
They are fun.
And I don't know I think I've told you this, but I don't know if you know this. The one before the costume party, the second I Drink You drink.
The one where I got hammered?
Yeah. Well, you were not alone in that, actually. Little known fact, after that I Drink You drink, James and Kelsey came over for pizza, but before they got there, I went outside and drunk dialed my mom and fell down in some bushes. So you are not alone in being super hammered.
I do remember the story of the Sequoia falling down in the bushes.
Like, I was still on the phone with my mom in the bushes, and I was my mom's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just in some bushes. I'll call you later."
I'm gonna get up as soon as I light this cigarette.
What about you, Kelsey? Do you have any favorite moments?
I mean, the costume party was a lot of fun, but just listening in general, I remember hearing Sequoia on there for the first time and didn't know that she was doing it, and I was like, "Hey, like Sequoia's on there!" Like, what? She didn't tell me that, like. So it was cool that you started incorporating more people, and the costume party was fun, and I don't know. Those are my biggest, like, remembrances, I guess.
I did want to let you know that since this is the anniversary edition, everybody gets the free downloadable content that we've given throughout the year.
Cool.
Which is any other podcast you want to download from iTunes.
There you go.
Except for episodes 19 through 23 coming soon to iTunes.
Yeah, I don't know why those are missing. Actually, I do know, but it's going to take me a little bit of time to fix it. So, I'm sorry.
Unacceptable.
Yeah. James, Sequoia, and I also, we are the hosts, but we're the technical expertise behind it, so you know that it's not going very well half the time. It's not going very well 2/3 of the time.
That's not even a joke. Like.
I knew that, but it was just funny.
Vince, I don't know if you have audio or if you're just in the chat.
Do you have to unmute him, or is he?
I think he should be good.
Okay.
Did you have any favorite moments? I'm going to assume that
he might need to unmute himself.
You might have to unmute yourself. Nope, can't hear you. No, I mean, like, seriously, I can read your lips saying, "Can you hear me?" But I couldn't hear you. Yeah, they can't hear anything. So you can type it out in the chat if you would like.
Is that how he's gonna?
He's gonna
Like
type it
up here?
exactly like
I
this.
bring them.
I need to see the keyboard to
Up
make
here.
sure it's actually you typing it.
He
So.
could do angry squirrel typing.
Someday science will understand, but for now we need to be honest.
Gather information. James.
By the way, while he's typing that, oh wait, there, no, way we go. He doesn't know what's going on with his audio. That is his favorite moment from. No, I got an Xbox One.
You did.
I did get an Xbox
Is that your
One.
favorite moment from the podcast?
It is not actually.
Okay.
I was just using that as just filler.
Well, what's your favorite moment from the podcast? You haven't said yet.
Yeah.
Is it every moment with us?
It's not that sappy. I would say that a year ago, a little less than a year ago, no, a little more than a year ago, whatever it is. I've been drinking. A little more than a year ago, I had posted on Facebook that I was interested in starting some sort of a podcast. And
I vaguely remember this.
Yes, and James, you had messaged me that was something that you were interested in. We'd been friends for a while,
Yeah.
but we hadn't in the last probably 4 or 5 years prior to that. We hadn't maybe three. We hadn't interacted as much.
Right.
We
Like
played
intermittently every now and again.
every once in a while, and so I was excited. We just lost video on one of the computers, so I wasn't sure if everybody else looks to still be here. So.
You can still hear us, right, Kels?
Yes, I can see you as
Okay, all right. So we just lost it on one of the computers, so we're just good. We're good. We're gonna keep going. Anyway, you had said we had started the process, and I would have to say that the entire process, everything that we've been going through, everything that we've been building towards adding, bringing Sequoia in, having guests, all of the things that we've been doing have been really exciting for me. I love it. I think I don't always feel as passionate about it as I'd like to feel about it. Sometimes it's like, oh man, I got to do a podcast again this week. But I really like that we're here a year later. We're still doing it. We're still looking to do it, at least for the foreseeable future. We're setting goals tomorrow for what we want to do for the next year. And I'm excited about it. I like where it's going, and I want to do more of it. And yeah, so the whole show has been amazing for me and great, and I'm looking forward to another year with both of you.
Good camaraderie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what Vince had said was that his favorite moments were early on when he was trying to break the show in the chat, but he hasn't listened faithfully in a while, which is true. But you know what? I will say that some of my favorite shows were when we had a lot of people interacting in the chat,
Yes.
especially
Yes.
Vince, because it was fun. It was that was the whole idea of the show, was interactivity. We wanted to be interactive. The future, I believe, will continue to hold that as soon as our following continues to grow. I think iTunes is going to help that. I think the Facebook likes are continuing to grow. I'm posting blogs every single week, and it's getting a lot of attention. And so hopefully it's driving people to here, and hopefully people will want to be involved. So, yeah.
I was going to say, one of my favorite ones, when we were talking about the interactivity of it, which was when, early on, when in the chat, there was a big hubbub going on, and everybody turns against James.
That was a Yazzie one, yes.
Blamed him, because she was
Yazzie's
just
so
like,
mad right now.
she was like, someone's video is so loud, and she's like, in chat, she's like, it's James, and we're all like, yeah, James. Hell, and then it turned out she had a video open in another browser,
She
and
hates
that's what
everything.
Oh my god.
Innocent all along. Still love you though, Yazzie. Don't get too mad.
I think you even turned down like the sound on everything in your
I,
room.
I could barely hear anyways, but I'm like, okay, I'll turn it down a little more, like super hearing girl in Norway. Like,
Super hearing girl. That's funny.
Yeah, and but I will say for Yazzie, and nothing against Vince, nothing against Kelsey, Yazzie is probably our number one. If I had an award to give for number one fan, it would probably go to Yazzie, and
Yes.
not because she's one of my best friends. So.
I came really close to ordering a fourth one of these, but I had no idea how to figure out what her address was to send her one. So Yazzie, I was going to order one, but I wasn't sure how to do it. But you were first in my mind. That's why you knew before they did. They didn't know
Yeah.
until like an hour ago.
Yeah. So
And
yes,
they both cried like little babies.
I'm
Like,
going to treasure
really?
this always. Yes. I might actually probably leave it over here to save the process of possibly breaking it. Yeah. So yeah.
Keep it away from the children's.
Yeah, pretty much.
Daddy, is this your cup? Smash.
Man. Yeah. So that was favorite moments.
Ooh, really quick before we move on, I want to give a shout out to Josh. Our first official email. He was looking to write a paper. He lives across the pond. He was looking to write a paper about social media. Came across our podcast, and he said it was helpful. It got him kind of moving. And I just told him I'd give him a shout out when I emailed him back. And thank you for the feedback. And we appreciate it. That was a great moment for me too.
Yeah.
Even though it's super recent, like to read that and then, just notice something we put out there was helpful for somebody. It was kind of amazing. Especially someone so far afield. It's not a lot of the people that we know regularly watch. Have to be people that we know that found out about the podcast from us. But he just found it in searching.
Yeah.
And he found it helpful. So shout out to Josh. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thanks, sir.
That's cool.
Yeah. The blog gets a lot of comments, mostly on one particular post of mine, which I didn't want to really. It was one of my posts related to my atheism and my being a father and everything, and I didn't want the blog. I would continue to post about like my atheism and everything, but I don't really want the blog to be all about that because it's supposed to be about I think you think. But we get lots of comments on that one, and so it's nice to see people interacting with us. And so for the future, continue. I mean, every single person that had posed queries to me or as the writer, I offered my position, and every single person has an opportunity to join us in the chat, join us on the podcast. It's easy enough, just contact us. I actually have quite a few, probably 4 or 5 people who are interested in being guests from the whole blog community that our blog is part of.
The Chicago Now?
Yeah, the Chicago Now blog. So that is something that we'll be talking about tomorrow, but something for the future. We will have people from Chicago Now blogs joining us, people who certainly have more expertise in lots of areas because, we're all sort of just regular Joes for the most part.
Look at the shirt.
This actually, I wore this as an homage, and I'm not going to go into the specifics of it. But
you watched a certain TV show?
I watched a certain TV show that was on yesterday that...
would have been a Sunday yesterday.
It would have been a Sunday, yes. And it's a very popular TV show that involves zombies. So it's an homage to something that happened yesterday on the TV show. So.
And those that know.
And those that don't, go watch it. What's wrong with you? Why aren't you watching a good show?
I think we got a comment at least once on YouTube, right, about the Miley Cyrus episode as well?
They're very positive. Actually, the one that probably got the most was the rape culture one. I was going to bring that up when you had mentioned about it. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
There was a few comments on there. Some people agreeing with you. Somebody was questioning it, if I remember specifically. And I had said, I can't speak for James and Sequoia, but here's my perspective on this. Yeah, I mean, we get comments here and there. I would say that because of some of the videos that I already have on that YouTube channel, we get some people who watch parts of our videos. But I would say on average, like the average watch time for any of our vidcasts that go onto there is about 4 or 5 minutes, which is pretty significant for something that's 30, 40, 50 an hour long, depending on which set it is.
Right. It's just about figuring out that average of how much is this is the wrong video and how much is the watching the entire thing.
Right. So and 1 or 2 of them actually have probably half of them as an average, which means that a majority of the people who are watching it aren't just clicking away right away. So that was there's favorites. Let's see. I kind of wanted to reach out to the community that watch us, that are here, Kelsey and Vince, and then anybody else after the fact. They comment on Facebook or on YouTube for things that you'd like to see for the future. Like, what do you want to see this next year? What were some of the things that you really liked that we did? Some of the episodes that we did that were really cool. Do you want to see us kind of like narrow down our scope, or do you want us to see us expand it, or what are you kind of looking for? before we go to before we go to Vince and Kelsey, well, I went to you first last time, so I'll go to Sequoia. What are things that you think you might want to see us try to either branch out into or kind of focus in on for the future?
Well, I definitely liked the Left 4 Dead 2 gaming session we did, technically 2 weeks ago now. I thought that was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked a little bit about that, in our little lounge. I'm not going to say the name of it. The lounge that we have.
It is a lounge.
So I really like that. And, I like the countdowns that James does, actually, because I feel like those really get us talking, and they're fun. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. James?
Well, just really quick, people that are watching or listening to this episode now, and you're wondering about that Left 4 Dead episode, we only have it in video format because, as Justin pointed out very wisely, since we're playing a video game later, we're all gamers, so we got into gamer mode, so there's large portions of silence. So as an audio podcast, it's really not very good.
Yeah.
The beginning is because we're more interactive and talking, and that's something as we do ones in the future, we'll have to work on, get a little better at making sure we're keeping the conversation there for the audio listeners. But for me in the future, I don't know. I mean, there's so much that we've already done. I feel like we're on a good course. I think more guests, more dynamic level to the conversation as far as more varied opinions, something that, we're always looking for. And it's just a matter of having those guests.
Yeah.
Because we, there's a lot of things that, right away we talk about topics and we're like, we already agree on that.
Yeah.
So, and even if it's just one of us choosing that position to be the devil's advocate, to give that other perspective a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I just, I enjoy doing this, so, what we've been doing has been working for that. So, continuing forward with the same stuff works for me.
Okay. We hit Kelsey first, and Vince actually already has stuff in the chat, so I'm gonna read through his. He said that he's always interested in the video games and tech stuff, which yes, we love it. Those are the things. Some of our the easiest podcasts to prepare for are those ones.
Yeah. We're at an hour 15. Gotta go.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, type thing. So yes, definitely more video game, more tech stuff. He's not too keen on the religion and politics stuff. I understand. I mean, those are very personal things, and that's the kind of feedback we want to hear. We want to make it what people are really more interested in. So yeah.
And a video game, even if it's not recorded, would be awesome. Completely agreed, Vincent. Completely agreed.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. I can't promise that I won't record it, though, because I remember...
He's got a problem.
Yeah. Not drugs or alcohol, it's...
Podcasting.
Podcasting and, So, Kelsey, last on the chopping block here.
Except for you. Right, because you haven't said what you want to see. But I think the tech stuff is fun. Well, I specifically remember when you started talking about Kindle versus Nook versus a tablet, or a not a tablet, and not an iPad or anything.
Yeah.
To read a book and stuff, and iPad. Thanks, Vincent. So I think that stuff is cool because you kind of especially if everyone has something different, you can, compare and contrast and talk about the differences and pros and the cons, and so that's fun. I do agree with James that you need more opinions because you all have very similar thinking, which is great. You get along better, but then oddballs like me are like, well, what about this? So I think that would make for a little bit more in-depth conversations, or I don't want to say arguments, but just bigger discussions about stuff. But then you have to be careful about politics and religion, because if you have two totally conflicting opinions, it could get ugly. So you need a ref.
Well, part of the foundation of what we do, though, because remember early on when it was just me and Justin, there'd be times when we'd record a podcast where we totally didn't agree, and then I'd listen to it after and I'd be like, if someone's not paying attention, they might not notice that we didn't agree, that we're on completely opposite sides of an issue. because it's the way we approach it, and that's kind of the way we want it to be.
Right.
It's fine for us to have different opinions, but that's part of what our goal is here, especially with those bigger issues. Not like, oh, we have different opinions. It's more like, well, we have different opinions. You know, why is it that you think that way? Why is it that I think this way? That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You know, I did not to get to that point in the argument. But the truth is, with politics and religion, it will get there for some people. But, you know, I think part of our original discussions with me and Justin, we were talking about how, like, we wanted to create a forum where even though we could have vastly different opinions and really hold strong to them, we can still just have that conversation and walk away not angry.
Right,
you know?
Which is good because, I mean, pretty much everyone that, all three of you are really, you respect each other, so that wouldn't really be an issue. So that's a good thing.
And that's also on the blog is one of the things I continue over there. Anybody who even has differing opinion on there, I will approach them and say, well, why do you feel that way? You know, how do you think that this should have been better approached? You know, those are the kind of conversations I have, and I mean that's what the show has always been about. I know for me over the next year, my biggest thing is I really want to see a lot more of the gaming stuff. I think it's fun. I think it's amazing and a lot of fun. I want us to kind of zero in on more topical stuff, more stuff that people are talking about that week. We have done a great job of being, for the most part, a weekly podcast with varied schedules and everything that's going on. I mean, we did a hell of a job. I mean, 52 episodes in a year. That's one a week. I mean, we technically only missed one, and that was when I was in Cardiff.
Right, and didn't we pre-record for that one?
We had pre-recorded. I hadn't released it.
Right.
And then we used it during another time when we didn't get a chance to
get together.
And so we ended up with technically 51 podcasts in that 1 year, which is impressive. And so that's why, and I want to continue going forward with once a week. You know, me personally, I've given thought to, you know, maybe we should scale it back. Maybe we should do every 2 weeks. Maybe we should do every month or something and do something, you know, bigger and more scripted and something like that. But it's nice to know that we did it. We kept to it, and if we go to something more topical, we're going to have stuff that people are talking about that week. People are interested in that week. So that's kind of, you know, my direction. I kind of want us to streamline it down. Not only that, I probably in the next year, I'd like to get more people on board who are interested in, you know, helping us out, being part of the show. Not just as guests, but people who work behind the scenes who help us out, and not for anything that is just, hey, help us out for the heck of it, but help us out so that we can also tell people about things that you do, not just anything spectacular or anything, but the things that are important to you, the things that you love, the things that you do. For example, if you follow us a lot, you will know that we always talk about StravaMax, StravaMax.com, where you can go for great jewelry. That was a pretty good transition.
That was very good.
Thank you very much.
I felt like it was me talking.
Yeah. But so this is a young lady that we had approached about helping us out, making some stuff for us. The fancy I think you think that you see on these mugs, you know, that started with her. You know, we had an idea and I approached her with it and she was interested in helping us out. And this is one of the ways we repay her, by just letting people know about this. It's great jewelry. It's worth taking time to look at it. It's affordable, and you know, the holidays are coming up, so there you go. So, you know.
Preach it.
As soon as I figure out how to
preach.
Oh yeah, you guys for Christmas.
So yeah, I mean that's
James is gone.
Yeah, he's disappeared. What the hell?
They kicked me off the podcast, Kelsey.
Why?
He's been fired, but it will go before the board of directors to see if we rehire him.
Gotcha.
So,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
For the time, he's on a probationary period in which he can.
I got dirt on the board, so I'm good.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I would like to see for the coming year. But yes, so there you go. Vince is typing stuff, and we've all been doing other things. So.
He agrees with the wider range of opinions, and I think the people from the blog community, the Chicago Now, will probably be a good resource for that.
Yeah.
It's a good place to jump off. I mean, you're developing a relationship in that community, and it could be good to get people in that have opinions farther afield. Yeah,
on a wider range of issues, and then at least having people who we love the fact that we're not, we don't have credentials in anything in specific. There are things we're passionate about, things we know a lot about, but we don't claim to be, the end-all, be-all of knowledge in that area. Mm-hmm. And so it would be nice to have people.
James, I was almost like I was looking at you, waiting for you to just motion somehow.
You'll be so loud, I couldn't let it go.
Yeah, you should see him in the chat that we have.
I'll invite you.
No.
Sequoia's a little ashamed of us in the chat.
You know what?
So we've touched on favorite moments. We've touched on what we'd like to see for the next year. The last thing that I have is things that you didn't like, things that you think we should completely get away from. Like, don't touch it. Don't touch it with a 10-foot pole. What are the things that we did badly? What are the things that we really need to improve on? I was with Sequoia last time, so we will go straight to James on this one. What are some things that we do?
It's ironic because I'm thinking about this as you're saying it, and this almost feels, because we're supposed to have a meeting tomorrow, and we're going to have lunch, not really a meeting, we're going to have lunch, and we're just going to kind of talk about the future of the podcast, and I feel like half these questions...
That's a legit meeting.
Tomorrow's topics, things I didn't like, sometimes I don't like the fact that we record every week. I like the fact that we have episodes every week. But, especially with work schedules, it feels like sometimes that can be burdensome to record every week. Mm-hmm. Although I like the number of episodes that we record. I definitely don't miss the horrible technical difficulties we had early on and the hours you put in editing everything. Like, the amount of time we put in the first, couple months. Compared to what it takes us now to execute it is, such worlds apart. And I'm really glad that we were able. I don't think we'd still be doing it.
No,
if it was that way, there's no way we'd still be doing it if we didn't, find the path that we found to really streamlining it. I mean, we record, it automatically uploads to YouTube, and then with a simple download that takes 20 minutes,
if that,
max, and then an upload that takes less time than that, we put it to all of our Facebooks, the I Think You Think Facebook, our Twitter page, and now iTunes. And looks like Lane has joined us.
No, that's actually Doug.
Oh yes.
Doug has never actually. He's never. I'm gonna show you in the broadcast, Doug. So I don't know if you've got audio capabilities, but you can join us. But those who don't know, Doug is actually the one who introduced me. I've known him for many years back in college. Introduced me. Sorry to cut you off.
No worries.
He introduced me to the Chicago Now community, and so he's actually one of the current Twitter that we have for I Think You Think came through Doug. Nice. So all of the followers that he had already had on there came from him. He's almost like a background person who's really he's supported me and the vision for the podcast, which then I kind of distributed out to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, he really helped. One of the big jumps that we got was when he kind of did what you were just talking about. Yep. It really kind of propelled us into another level. Not that we're flying.
Yeah. It's not like we got millions of viewers or anything.
But I mean, it was a big jump for us, and it's part of the foundation that's got us to where we are today, and we'll continue moving us forward in the future. So thank you, Doug, if you can hear us all.
So yes, thank you. We really appreciate it. Still think very fondly of all the things that you've helped us achieve and the things that you've helped us do. So Sequoia, things that you don't like, things that you wish would change.
Well, I am glad that we got away. I'm glad that we're doing them in person now, because I feel like when we were all in different locations, just from that, even if it was a 2-second delay in conversation, it really sort of hampered the flow, and I feel like we get a much more like genuine interaction between the three of us now that we're doing it in person. So I mean, even if it means like pre-recording an episode, like doing them back to back, I think that's better than okay, next week we'll do it from our locations, because I feel like it's just not as fun.
Yeah.
You know, there's I don't know. I like this much better than that, so I think we should try and stay away from that as much as possible.
Okay.
Which is exactly what Vince suggested.
Yeah, he that's yep. And again, things that we'll definitely be talking about for is there more?
Or no.
Yeah, you might as well. So we got Vince basically agreed with that more of the live shows. Kelsey, what about you?
I think that's probably a good thing that you've switched over to, is recording it with the three of you in one spot. Like Sequoia was saying, it's more interaction, it's more personal, I guess. The whole webcam, like even now I'm like, man, I should have just gone over there and hung out, like, but work sucks, so. So I think that's was a bad thing turned to a good thing. I don't know. I don't really have any negative thoughts.
That's because you're Kelsey.
Well, I mean, yes, I am, but yeah, I don't think there's really. I don't have anything bad to say about it. So.
We lost Doug already.
Yeah.
I don't think he was getting a good connection because no camera and I didn't hear him at all.
Yeah. So he can at least, maybe he'll make it back in. There was a couple of people that just because of conflicts weren't.
He posted on the Facebook chat that we put for all the possible guests that he's on the train. That's why, and the signal was not good.
So. Okay. So thank you for attempting. Really appreciate it. Nobody knows. Very few people know about Doug, but he is almost to a certain extent a mentor for me as somebody who really loves social media and everything that's behind it. And this show really is about that social aspect and that building that community. And so he's helped to kind of pave the way for some of the ways I think about social media and getting things out to people.
Oh, and I want to do something in this podcast just to hold us accountable for something we've been talking about wanting to do. Sometime, we'll say in the next 6 months, to give us enough time since we have varied schedules, we're going to be, in honor of I Think You Think, we're going to be collectively volunteering at a soup kitchen or some other volunteer opportunity, depending on what arises. But it is our goal, and now it's on tape, so we can't back out.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, within the next year, and I don't know if I've shared this with you. I actually do have contacts at Northern Illinois Food Bank. So, I do have people that we can kind of connect with.
Sorry, I'm laughing at what Vincent said.
He had said that he likes as a kitchen, so he wants us to come over.
I was like, why are you laughing at that? Oh my God, this is not a Kelsey moment.
Yeah. But yes, so the Northern Illinois Food Bank. Just because I already have some connection with some people there, that's probably where I'll probably shoot for, and it's relatively close. So yeah, that is one of the things that we want to do. In the very least, in the next 6 months, I'd like to do it early next year, probably before March.
Yeah, and we'll talk about this more tomorrow, but it is on our plans. I just gave us 6 months to
get it together. Yeah,
we really wanted to do it. We had talked about how it is very popular on the holidays to do that. So we kind of wanted to see when it was more needed. When's the lull? And then we'll step in when there's the lull.
When's the lull?
Where the extra hands are needed a little more. And that's since you know some people, you can find out when that is, and then we'll
get it put together. And that also
anyone
means,
who wants to join us.
Exactly. That also means
the friends, the guest. Yeah.
Yep.
My car fits at least 4 people.
Me.
There you go. Okay, Kelsey. Yazzie,
Yeah. You know what? That was another thing that we were talking about was we'd like to see Yazzie on the show sometime, not just in video. It would be great to be able to have Yazzie out here sometime.
Definitely.
So maybe by next year, maybe earlier. I mean, things we can talk about. Some of the things that I I don't like about the show that I wish we could improve on.
Mostly get fired.
James, I've been wanting to have a conversation with you for a while about your performance. I'd like to. I'd like to. I do a lot. I'm not sure what's so funny.
The same thing that's always funny.
Yes.
Anyways.
Sorry. I was trying to keep the show going while they're off on their own little thing.
We do. That happens. It's kind of like a chat,
Inside
like acted out in person.
Yeah.
So things you don't like about the show, things you'd like to see changed.
So the technical aspects of things, I deal with that. It's probably a little bit more than you guys do, and so
pretty much entirely.
Entirely more. There are a lot of technical aspects that take place now, significantly less than when we were trying to do with Skype and record it and me edit it like in an insane amount. And those things are very difficult because a lot of the stuff I have to teach myself. Like I have no idea how to do it. I don't know the products to use. I have to find the products. I have to not download, but I have to watch tutorial videos and teach myself a lot of these things. And so it's something that I feel is almost a necessary evil. Like we've got to do it. It's got to get done this way, and I do it. Would I love for somebody to raise their hand and go, hey, I will do it from now on. Like, I don't want to be on the show. I want to do it. And I'm not saying this because I want somebody to do, like, it would be great if somebody contacted us.
But he's not asking.
But I'm not asking you or anybody else who listens to do it. I'm just saying it's one of those things that is difficult that I don't like about the show. What Vince had brought up is that he doesn't like our email address, which I agree 100%. It's ithinkyouthink2012@gmail.com.
And who picked that?
That was me. That was me. And it's because I Think You Think was taken, and I was trying to find something, and at the time it seemed okay, and now it seems stupid. But a lot of
because it's almost 2014.
Yes, yeah. Now we could chalk it up that 2012 was the year that we started.
Yes.
You know, or that 2012 is the level of awesome that we are on a level of 1 to 10. You know, it's, you know, I mean, all of these are very valid arguments. But you know, I think that I would like to have a different email address. I know that there's stuff involved in the future that would need us to do that, and even a dedicated web page, you know, would be nice. Vince had actually brought that up, you know, like to own ithinkyouthink.com. These are things that would be cool to have. So yeah, there you go. I'm not sure what time.
Then we got about 10.
We still have about 10, 15 minutes. So those were the three big topics that I kind of wanted to hit on, and I don't know. Anybody else have any?
I have a comment. You should have, when you do an I Drink, You Drink, you should do a video game I Drink, You Drink, and every time someone dies, they have to take a drink.
What, would you really have to drink that slowly? I guess we got a really difficult game.
Well, you could do like 007 or something like old school.
Can we bring over like a 3-year-old to play a hard video game just so we can keep at the right level? Maybe we could have like a like remotely placed 3-year-old so we're not drinking heavily and over the 3-year-old.
Or I mean, you could just make it a drink.
You could just have Sequoia play Need for Speed. And every time she crashed.
Hey, I didn't do so badly.
I just said every time you crashed. The more you get, the more often you're gonna crash. It's gonna like exponentially go. It's fine.
Yeah, but you named me. What is that a sexist thing? Is it the girl in the room?
Oh snaps!
I haven't actually played Need for Speed yet. So.
According to Yazzie, yesterday Justin was being a girl. So who is the girl in the room?
Really?
Welcome, Yazzie.
She didn't say that to me. Now I'm pissed.
Perfect. Battle over. But I like your thinking, but we already have a topic for the next I Drink, You Drink.
Okay, well, the one after that. What?
Whoa, did you just say the one after that and then bark at us?
I have a dog in my room right now.
Is it one you own?
Yes. It's my Tessa beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Really good?
That was fake, and I wasn't really concerned. I knew it was her dog.
I'm sorry, I was not listening if you were talking to me.
I was just being humorous. It's okay.
It's like most people around James.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm like E.F. Hutton if you're old enough to get the reference.
Dang it.
The chair.
I think that, you know what, we're probably about 9 minutes before the end of it, but if there's nothing else anybody else wants to bring up, I think we can kind of wrap it up. And this will be a short podcast, but that's okay. You know, it's the anniversary one. We just wanted to thank all of the people who have continued to listen. We wanted to thank all of any of the new listeners, the 100 and so. I mean, our likes on Facebook are, you know, topping 260, almost 270, and so you know, really interesting.
Vincent, you're awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vincent, you're like a superhero.
Oh wow. Oh well. Okay. So, honorary executive producer. Maybe we'll talk about that.
Forget Strava Max. Someone else is getting the mid-break commercial from now on.
That's right. That's right.
Just kidding, Strava Max. We love you too.
Yeah. There's plenty. I mean, there's an hour. There's plenty of time to add.
It's true.
Yeah.
You can do it like at the 20 and the 40.
Yeah. Whatever we got to do.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it'll just be a whole show of commercials, and we'll just talk for a couple of minutes. You know, whatever pays the bills.
It'll just be like
really.
NBC.
So, anyway, yeah. So, oh, Kelsey, evidently there's a strange person.
It's my brother.
Hi.
He's all interested. I said, I'm on a podcast, and he's like, that's cool.
What's it like? What's it like being Kelsey's brother?
It's
You better be nice to me.
there's never there are no dull moments.
Fair enough. I don't know Kelsey that well, but
You could see it, though.
I can see it. I can see it.
That's all right. I know her pretty well, so you can trust me.
Thanks, Sean.
No problem.
Oh, you are the foremost expert.
It's true. It's like he's got credentials.
That's,
I don't know if you understand.
well, he's just a guest. It's
Yeah.
okay for guests
A
to
guest
have
can have
credentials.
credentials as long as we don't develop any. In fact, as soon as you graduate college, you're out of here.
I kind of figured.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm taking my time with it, trying to stretch it out.
I think
You'll
that's
have to be a guest instead of a host.
Yes. No, we're not allowed to talk about music because I will school you.
Oh, I thought it was because
I don't.
Yeah.
I would never say that I
He doesn't have a
could.
degree.
I don't have a degree.
Dropped out
I'm just
of college.
Stupid.
James should have a degree in music.
What was that, Kels?
I said you should have a degree in music.
I do. I earned it on the streets.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, there you go.
Honorary.
Honorary.
Well, I just bought a lot of like records, followed by tapes, followed by CDs, followed by MP3s. That's what I did.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
man.
yours at least you have something to show for it. Mine's just a piece of paper that can go up in a fire.
It's true.
Your MP3s at least are on the cloud.
Yeah, my own personal cloud.
Yeah, so you can. Take
I'm tech savvy.
They're on a
Anyway.
tech drive from like 1999.
Thank you very much for all of you who have joined us in recent times or all the way back for a year. We really appreciate it. We are going to be here for as long as we can keep this going, and as long as we have people who are interested in being part of it, and being part of you know, the kind of thing that we're trying to create here. I like to always believe that everybody has separate stories in this in the tapestry of the human narrative. They have different strands, and that is what is humanity, is all of these different stories interwoven to create whatever is this beautiful tapestry. It's all part of that human narrative, and this is that aspect. And so I want to continue to see this continue on, and we can do it, and then you can do it by helping us. So. Contact us on Facebook. If you want to be a guest, send us a message. I accept all personal messages on Facebook, and you can also message on Facebook or even tweet at ITYT, like ITYT, or I think you think. I've tried to hashtag it and make it a thing, but you know, nobody else does it, so whatever. So anyway, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week.